when I was saying that I've got my bag of tricks, I was trying to say to myself, as I said, how do I make it stick? How do I tell you things in a manner that when you leave here today, you will still remember what I've said? I don't just want to talk to you because, oh, they told us that there's a guest speaker coming. No. You know, so when you see them wearing those hats, you will remember that I said life rewards you. When you step up to the plate, you get a reward. When you work hard, you get a reward. And rewards differ. What satisfies me as a reward may not satisfy you as a reward. Different people get different things. They are not getting the same rewards. The ladies are getting journals, the men are getting hats. And that brings me to the importance of a journal. So, when I was growing up, I started school early. When I was 4, right? This was back in the time when the 7-year-old school readiness rule was not that enforced. You know, people used to have to put your hand around your head, and if you can touch the other ear, then you were ready. Yeah, I couldn't quite touch my other ear then, but you know, the reason I started school early was because I have a dear beloved sister. So one of my identities is that I'm Mutiba's sister, and in certain circles they don't even know my name; they just know me as Mutiba's sister, and that's something that I embrace because that's what I am. So I have an older sister, Mutiba, and she's not that much older than me. Almost a 2-year gap between us. But when it was time for her to go to school, I apparently then also wanted to go to school. I didn't want to go to creche. I wanted to go with my sister. So my mother thought, hey, I'm tired of this little girl whining. Let's just take her to school. She went and spoke to the principal and said, could you please just take her and just keep her at the back of the class? You know, she's giving me trouble. You know, you don't have to register her. Just make her think that she's coming to school. And the principal said, fine, because she could also understand the dilemma that my mother had. So I then started attending school because I wanted to have the uniform. I wanted a suitcase. My sister was, you know, there were those brown suitcases that you guys think are old. They were the it thing during our time. So I had my little suit. I also wanted my little suitcase. But why? Why? You know, I had a sister who had been my companion for all of my limited life. And suddenly she had a uniform and she had a suitcase that she was carrying and she was going to a different place. So it made me feel as if I did not belong with her anymore. You know, it suddenly made me think that, but why is she getting that and I'm not? So I wanted to belong. I wanted to still keep and maintain that closeness and how I identify with my sister. So I jumped up and down and I banged my head. Maybe I rolled myself on the floor. I don't know. But I said it strongly enough for my mother to think that, you know what? Let me at least make her feel as if she's got it. So she went and she got me the uniform. She got me the suitcase. And she took me to school and she did not register me. So in my mind, I thought that's fantastic. I'm going to school. Because suddenly I could identify with my sister again. You know? And that identity always comes back to it touches and influences so many things that you do. Unconsciously, you don't know it. But when you sit back and you reflect and you say, but why did I do that? Why did I do that? Now I can say, as a 4-year-old, I would sit there and I would look at my sister and I would say, but no, why should I go over there and she goes over there? Because she's my sister. We do things together. We do stuff together. We still do till today, you know? But it was that sense of belonging that I wanted. And that's what that gave me. So then I started at 4 and therefore I finished very early. So when I was in matric, my birthday is in December. So that even makes it worse. So when I started school, I had just turned 4. So when I was in matric, I was 15. I turned 16 at the end of that year. And I was a feisty one, you can imagine. Because I was always the youngest in class, but I always identified myself with my sister. So I always hung out with peers that were a little bit older than me. So I always had to find my space. And that is how I, had defined myself. Because no one put me in that situation. I did. Because had I just remained in creche, I would have had a different set of friends. I would have had peers that were my age, but I didn't. So I had to have a voice. I had to find something that will always make me stand out, despite the fact that maybe I was shorter than everyone else, I was smaller than everyone else, and maybe I didn't know as much as everyone else. But I was always there with those people. So I was 15 when I finished matric, and when I was doing matric. And like any 15-year-old girl, I kept a diary. I would write things in my diary that... Who keeps a diary? Even the guys do. That's good. I would write thoughts that I had. I would write things that make me angry that I couldn't talk about. I would write things that make me happy. And what that did for me was that it, one, taught me how to express myself. Right? It taught me how, because now you open this blank piece of paper and you're like, okay, dear diary, it is now the 6th of June, 1990, or whatever it is. What am I going to write? And obviously you want to make it different from yesterday. So you try and find things that, so what is it about today? What is it about today that I think is important enough to put down on this piece of paper? So I kept a diary. And like any 15-year-old, I had secrets. Who doesn't? I had crushes on people. I had people that I hated, absolutely. I had people that I thought, oh, they are absolutely just have no brain. I had strong opinions. I knew it all. So a lot of it was contained in my diary. And of course, and I was in boarding school. So I was in boarding school since standard 6. So, now I was well into boarding school. I was a senior. I really knew it all at the school. I felt like I was the person. So there was a lot that was contained in my diary. And certain of those things I did not want other people to see. Right? Least of all my mother. Right? But because I've got the kind of mother that I have, who is very nosy, and she knows it, and yeah. So you come back from holiday, you come back from school for holidays, and you come home, and you've got your diary in your room, and then one day my mother finds this diary. She lies on the bed, she takes off her shoes, and she reads the diary. Okay. Right? So she reads it, And obviously she's going to find stuff that she doesn't like. And now she's got a dilemma, right? What has she done?
She's broken the rule, like the trust of that. It's your diary. So how can she be angry at you, but she's done something wrong herself?
She's broken the trust. She's taken something that was not hers and she's read it.
She also jumps to conclusions because here she finds something, she doesn't know the whole story and the background to how you feeling that was your personal thing.
Exactly.
She jumps to conclusions.
Exactly.
She also invaded your privacy.
Invaded my privacy. I like that word, invade. It's like you're going to war. Yeah?
Part of me doesn't think because you're a child, so she needs to know what's happening in her life.
A voice of reason. She needs to know what's happening in my life.
On that, if she needs to know what happened in her life, she doesn't have to ask you why you wrote this because it wasn't for her to read it.
Okay. It wasn't for her to read it. She could have asked me. Anyone else? Okay. And all of those are valid reasons, are valid comments. She invaded my privacy. Absolutely. But did she? Yeah? Well, okay. I'm her child. She needs to know what happens in my life. Yeah? She can ask me. So obviously my mother grapples with this and says, okay, so what am I going to do about this? She can't come out to me guns blazing and say, you have done this and this and this and this and that. Because she's not supposed to know that, right? So she comes to me. She says, she calls me to the room. And she says, you know, I was coming into this room and I went into this drawer and she opens it. And I came across this. And I look at her and I say, okay. Because I knew it all, right? And she says, and then I took off my shoes, I lay on the bed and I read it. And I say, really? And what gave you the right to do that? And she says, oh, so I don't have a right to read your stuff. And I say, no, because that's my private stuff. That's my private things. And she says, okay, fine. So you and I talk, right? Yes, we do. So is there anything in there that you haven't told me? And I say, well, it's my life and my stuff and. You know how people are. And she says, but you've said I must talk to you. So now you're already saying that when I do talk to you, there are certain things that you are not going to tell me. So I know this. You are telling me this. But there are certain things that you are not going to tell me, right? And yet you say that you are my child, you are living in my house, and. Right? So I say, okay. And she says, is there anything in there that you don't want me to know? And I think about it, I say, yes, of course, I don't want you to know some things. And she says, why? Why? And I say, well, because maybe I hadn't told you about them, or maybe I didn't tell you the whole truth when I did. But what that incident did for me and my mother was she got to understand some things that she didn't understand about me, but it also taught me that, and the more I thought about, is there anything in there that I did not want my mother to know? My mother needs to know me for who I am. So anything that I do, and anything that I do enough for me to feel that, or think, or anything that just defines who I am, enough for it to land into my diary, that that is who I am. So why would I not want my mother to know? Why would I want there to be parts of me that are hidden from her.
Maybe you were not comfortable enough to tell her, like you were not ready to tell her.
Okay. So maybe I was not comfortable enough. So what does that mean?
Means that like you don't want to tell her some few steps, like if you've done something, but you don't want to tell her because you know how he
I've done something right?
yeah, or wrong.
I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
How she would react in that kind of situation.
So I've done something wrong. Okay? Let's get the
Sometimes I think people do that because when you're scared of the outcome.
yeah, fear. Fear.
Same thing. Yeah, maybe we just have to like she was slapping or smoking or something.
And some of them deserved a smacking, actually. Yeah.
You're not proud of your identity.
Yeah.
Identity.
Yeah. And for me, again, going back to who am I? So the things that I do define who I am. And yet, I want my mother to have a different opinion of me. And therefore, what do? I conceal that. I can never hope to ever have a good relationship with my mother if I am already misrepresenting who I am with her. She is going to speak to me in Sesotho because I am putting myself up as a Mosotho who can speak Sotho. But I need to say, no, this is who I am. And so, for me to make sure that I'm comfortable with her knowing some of the things that I do, I then need to know that I am doing the kind of things that I want to be known for. I can't be doing things that I don't want other people to know because I can hide behind the fact that as long as they don't know them, I'm going to hide them. Because it's still, hiding it doesn't make it not become me, because I've done it. It is part of my identity. So the things that you do, the actions that you take, define who you are. They define who you are. And those actions are up to you. So I can't say, oh no, but my mother can't know me for this. My mother can't know that I smoke because that is wrong. If I want my mother to know me as someone who doesn't smoke, I mustn't smoke. I mustn't smoke. But if I do smoke, then everyone must just know me for that person. I must own who I am. I must embrace my identity. And if I think, you know, I know it all, I have thought about it, I think I'm going to take up smoking. As people do. I mean, smoking is a habit that a lot of people pick up, right? So that made me, and I mean, we then got to talk with my mother about some of the things that had been contained in the diary, like sneaking out when I was not supposed to, and blah, blah, blah. And we talked about what does that mean? What does it mean when you specifically do something that that I've told you not to do? And if something happens to you, who is going to have to come and rescue you? So she took me on a journey that says, these actions have consequence, and all actions have consequence. I mean, some of you do physical science, right? Yes. And you'll know Newton's second law. For every action, there's a reaction, right? So in life, every action that you take has a consequence. And you need to know. You need to know what you're going to do with that consequence. So the gentleman over there who's sleeping, there's a consequence. There's a consequence for that action, right? You were just closing your eyes for 2 minutes because I've been looking at you. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will. And I'm doing that because I want to show that maybe you're sleeping because you're tired. Maybe you slept very late yesterday. Maybe you haven't been sleeping enough. You know, there are reasons why we do things. Sometimes it's a mistake. Sometimes it's because I can't help it. Sometimes it's because I don't care. But what defines what that action ultimately becomes for you is how you then deal with it. So when my mother read my diary, it could have resulted in me not speaking to her. I mean, I was a temperamental 15-year-old. I could have said, I hate you. I never want to speak to you ever again. And we don't talk for a month. But because of the way she handled it, that defined what that story was going to become for us, right? So you were closing your eyes for 2 minutes. You were not sleeping. I'm not going to say you were. But I'm standing here, and I see you with your eyes closed, and I say, that gentleman is sleeping. For every action, there's a reaction, consequence, you know? And now, it forms part of your identity. Everyone here is going to look at you and say, he slept. You know? Those are things that define who you are. So what I'm trying to say to you is understand how your actions define you. So if you want to be known as the drug addict, go outside and buy drugs and take them. And then you will be known as the drug. It doesn't matter that you conceal it. It doesn't matter that you only do it in the toilet. You are a drug addict. If you smoke, you will be a smoker, whether people know it or not. So understand the things that impact on your identity, and your actions are some of those. So writing in a diary. So I still keep a diary. I've got this book that I carry with me. At times it's called Next Great Idea. I'm still waiting for the big one to come, but my journal at the moment says Next Great Idea. But I want to say to you, use journals to record your thoughts, to record the things that impact you, and therefore that make up who you are. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the last message that I have. So I've got a bag here, a box here. I want to talk to you about angels. I want to say to you, do you believe in angels? What's an angel? Okay, let's have someone who hasn't said anything.
For me, an angel is just it's a spirit
It's a spirit?
roaming around the air.
Yeah?
An angel can also be like a person who does something great to other people.
Person who does something great to other people.
I think an angel is someone who guards over you, like a spirit that guards over you.
Guards over you. Okay, so when you look up the definition of an angel, they will tell you that angels are messengers. They are spiritual beings, but every angel has a message. An angel is a messenger. And throughout life, we meet different people, and they have different messages that they are saying to us. So I want to say to you today, in the journey of finding your own identities and embracing them, also note the different angels that have come into your life. And believe in those angels, because they will bring you things that will make you grow. They will bring you messages that you need at different points in time. They may not always be nice things, because there's also an angel of death. But death is a necessary thing. It's a sad thing, but it's a necessary thing. So all the different people and the different things that we meet in life, this camp that you are in, you are meeting different angels. There are different people who are coming to you with different messages. Take those messages and believe that there's always an angel that will bring you something that you need. There's always an angel that will come with a message that will speak to who you are. So find out your own identity and embrace it. Discover your identity Like Tobile still doesn't know some parts of the national anthem. She needs to discover those. So discover parts about yourself. Continuously, it's a journey. Discover parts about yourself. Use journals to write things. And what a journal helps you with, I link that with the responsibility for your actions. Your actions define who you are. Your actions define who you are. So if you've got an identity that you want to have, make sure that your actions are consistent with that identity. And then lastly, believe in angels. So I've got some angels here. I'm going to leave them with you because I'm trying to make this thing of the angel stick. So I've got some angels here that each of you are going to get. So this is this is the you can hang it anywhere you want. But when you look at it, always remember that there's angels in life. Different people that you meet, different people that you interact with. That teacher that you hate, he's also an angel. He's also an angel. So believe in angels, and you will find that it will make your life richer. It will help you in the journey of understanding who you are and unveiling who you are, so that you can stand up and when someone asks you, so who are you? You can actually tell them in a way that says, I know who I am. I know that I am a Mosotho, but I speak Xhosa. That is who I am, and I embrace that. So all of you are going to get angels. I'm going to leave them here. They are not all like this. There's different kinds of angels. As I said, life, people, different people get different things. But we're all the same. We all have angels. It can be your mother at a different point. It can be your best friend. It can be, as I said, that teacher that you hated or that you still hate. He's an angel that is sent to you to teach you something about your life. Okay? Thank you.